What if the people you see on television being hypnotized are not simply acting, but also not being controlled in the way you think? Do you believe in hypnosis? Let's see what really happens. You turn on your TV and see someone on a stage forget their own name. Their arm becomes stiff. They look at an ordinary person and react as if a celebrity just walked into the room. And something inside you splits in two. One part says this has to be fake. The other part wonders, but what if their mind really is somewhere else? That uncomfortable space between disbelief and curiosity is where hypnosis actually lives. Not in the cartoon version, where a mysterious man swings a watch and steals your will. Not in the lazy, skeptical version either, where every strange reaction is dismissed as theater or people pretending. The science points to something more interesting. Hypnosis is real, but its reason is stranger than the myth. The American Psychological Association's Division 30 describes hypnosis as focused attention, reduced peripheral awareness, and an increased capacity to respond to suggestion. That definition sounds clean, almost too clean, but if you sit with it, it becomes unsettling. Focused attention means the mind is not asleep, it is narrowed. Reduced peripheral awareness means the rest of the world becomes less important. Increased response to suggestion means an idea, if it enters the mind at the right moment, can change how a person experiences their body, their perception, or their sense of control. That is not magic, but it is not nothing. Think of attention like light in a dark room. Most of the time, it spreads across everything. The chair, the window, your thoughts, the sound outside, the small discomfort in your shoulder. Under hypnosis, that light becomes more like a beam. It does not create reality from nowhere, but it can make one part of reality stronger, while everything else fades. And once the mind is absorbed, suggestion can do something most people underestimate. It can become experience. If someone is told their arm is heavy and they feel it, is that fake? If someone is told a sensation will become less painful and their pain decreases, is that imagination? If someone is guided to see a face that is not physically there, and their brain responds differently than it does during ordinary imagination, what exactly should we call that? In 2016 at Stanford University, Heidi Jiang, Matthew White, Michael Greicius, Lynn Welde, and David Spiegel published a brain imaging study in cerebral cortex. They scanned people during hypnosis and found changes in brain networks linked to attention, body awareness, and self-reflection. The brain did not shut down, it reorganized. That matters because the popular image of hypnosis is usually about losing consciousness. But the science suggests a different picture. A person entering a highly focused mode where the borders between instruction, imagination, and bodily experience can become more flexible. This is why stage hypnosis looks strange from the outside. From the audience, it can look like obedience. From inside the person, it may feel more like something is happening through them. They are participating, but not always with the usual feeling of, I am choosing every part of this. In 2013, Quinton Deely and colleagues from King's College London, University College London, and Cardiff University published an fMRI study in PLOS ONE using hypnotic suggestion to study loss of control and awareness of hand movements. They found that when highly suggestible participants experienced involuntary movement, the brain showed changed connectivity between motor regions. In plain language, action could happen while authorship changed. That is close to the strange sentence many hypnotized people use afterward. I knew what was happening, but it didn't feel like I was fully doing it. Not mind control, but not ordinary choice either. And here the topic becomes bigger than television. Every night, the brain creates dreams. It builds rooms you have never entered, faces you have never seen, danger that makes your heart race, and grief that feels real. Then you wake up, and only then do you realize your mind was generating the stage and sitting in the audience at the same time. So the question is not, can the mind construct experience? It obviously can. The deeper question is, can that construction be guided while awake? For some people, under the right conditions, the answer seems to be yes. In 2021, Renzo Lanfranco, Alvaro Rivera Rey, David Huepe, Agustin Ibanez, and Andres Canales Johnson published a study in neuroimage comparing hypnotic visual hallucination with ordinary visual imagination. Their work suggested that hypnotically hallucinated faces can produce brain activity patterns different from simple mental imagery. That does not mean every stage performance is pure neuroscience. It does not mean every person can be made to see anything. It means the border between imagining and perceiving is not as solid as we like to believe. Some minds are more responsive than others. If you have ever been hypnotized and did not feel controlled, that does not disprove hypnosis. It may simply mean your mind responded in a lighter way. You noticed the suggestion, you felt the guidance, but you did not cross into the deeper state where the suggestion begins to feel almost self-moving. Hypnosis is not one switch. It is a spectrum. At one end, it may feel like relaxation and focused attention. In the middle, it may feel like suggestion influencing sensation, emotion, or behavior. At the far end, perception itself can feel bent. And this is why the theater version both reveals and distorts the truth. A stage hypnotist is not usually showing clean science. They are selecting responsive people, building expectation, using confidence, comedy, social permission, and momentum. The room itself becomes part of the induction. People laugh, watch, anticipate, and slowly the impossible becomes socially possible. But that does not mean nothing real is happening. Human experience is deeply affected by setting, and hypnosis uses setting with precision. When we watch someone being hypnotized, we often ask, why are they so suggestible? But we rarely ask how suggestible we already are in ordinary life. A doctor says, this might hurt, and your body tightens before the needle touches skin. Someone says, you look exhausted, and suddenly your face feels heavier. A calm voice can slow your breathing. A nervous room can make your own thoughts shake. This is not hypnosis in the clinical sense, but it shows the same ingredients scattered through daily life: attention, expectation, trust, authority, rhythm, and suggestion. You may even do it to other people without noticing. You tell someone, don't be nervous, and now nervousness becomes the center of the room. Suggestion is not always a command. Sometimes it is the emotional weather around a sentence. This is why the positive side of hypnosis matters. If suggestion can intensify fear, pain, and helplessness, it may also help reduce them. Not as a miracle cure, not as a replacement for medicine, but as a practical tool for changing how the nervous system organizes experience. In 2013, Suzanne Tefeko and colleagues published a meta-analysis in Clinical Psychology Review looking at hypnosis for adults undergoing surgery or medical procedures. Across randomized trials, they found small to medium benefits for distress, pain, medication use, recovery, and procedure time. In 2024, Jenny Rosendahl, Cameron Aldredge, and Antonia Hadenhorst published a broad review of meta-analyses in Frontiers in Psychology, covering hypnosis for mental and somatic health outcomes over 2 decades. The strongest effects appeared in areas like pain, medical procedures, and children or adolescents. That does not mean hypnosis works for everything. It means the door is real. And for certain people, in certain contexts with trained professionals, hypnosis can help the brain and body experience something differently enough to matter. Pain is not just a signal traveling from tissue to brain. It is also attention, fear, meaning, prediction, memory, and threat. Change the state around pain, and sometimes pain changes, not because the person is weak, not because the pain was fake, but because perception is not a passive recording. It is an active construction. That may be the most important thing hypnosis teaches. Your mind is not a camera, it is closer to a living editor. It selects, it amplifies, it softens, it predicts. It gives weight to some signals and lowers the volume of others. And under hypnosis, that editing process can become more visible, more directed, and sometimes more dramatic. So maybe the question, do you believe in hypnosis, is too simple. A better question is, do you believe your experience is fixed? Because hypnosis does not ask you to believe in magic. It asks you to accept something almost more uncomfortable. What you feel as reality is partly built by the state you are in. The myth says hypnosis is when someone else takes over. The science suggests something deeper. Sometimes, under the right conditions, your own mind begins to cooperate with a reality it has been invited to create. Lucid Order. Question everything.